restoration of Mrs. Mary Rowlandson. It's a much longer title with subtitles, but if you would look that up, you'd find it. And she loved to complain about everything. She would complain about how weary she was. And I'm sure she was. She had been taken from her home and separated from her husband and children. But they gave her the only horse that they had every day. So she always had the horse. She complained that she had to carry 5 pounds of cornmeal. And I'm like, what are you complaining about? You're on the horse. I don't think it's that much of a burden for you. But what she did do is document the life and a lot of like the food that people ate, just their customs, how they socialized, when they went to bed, how they guarded their village, the things they ate, how they hunted, how they cooked too. So that's really the earliest record I think we have of, that would be 1675, right? April 1675, of by a settler of that cornbread of which I spoke, wrapped in the corn husks, and that's still good. That can be steamed or boiled or baked in the coals anyway. It changes a little bit how it's cooked, but it's really, as she said, it was sweet meat indeed, and I think it is. I'm including this as a little, I'll sound like I'm going off track, but not really, a little tribute to my friend, and I wanted to make a video for her. And I was looking for something, and I couldn't find a photo of Tracy King, who recently died in Toronto. And we had had a great conversation in January, which was the last time I spoke. Then I left for Mexico a few days later. We talked for probably 3.5 hours on the phone. And we were just talking about the situation of, oh, she gave this shell to me, that's why I kept it, and that was her name, Shell Woman. And that's a little hand-carved tobacco box that's made from horn there. But we were both kind of down about the situation of, oh, the native curriculum and who's being hired to do what, and pretend Indians who are still like all around making decisions that they shouldn't be, and on boards and things, on faculties. And we were saying, what can we do about this? Like, it's really irritating and it's not right. A lot of these jobs were created for First Nations people. And people are being hired who really don't know what they're talking about or doing, or don't have a background, a real background in the history and culture and language and so on. So she was on a leave of absence because it had got her down so badly. She was physically ill, and she died. And I think that's why she said that herself. Before, in January when we last spoke, she said, "This is just killing me. It's killing me. It's made me physically ill. It's as if nobody cares, and no one will do anything. They're just happy to see." Yeah, I said, "Yeah, you know, some people acknowledge it, but they don't do anything. You're right." So she said, maybe the world's country just isn't ready for us yet. Maybe that's the problem. We're expecting too much. And she said, I think it's going to be a long time before this situation is straightened out. And then when I got back from Mexico in March, I heard just about a week later from a friend that, oh, Tracy King died suddenly, I think at home. So we were very saddened. She was younger than me, I think. She was a very kind and good person who worked in a lot of the First Nations organizations from the very beginning, the early days as they started up. And yeah, so I wanted to include that for her, in memory of her, that shell. This is something, a piece of beadwork that my students made for me. Isn't that beautiful? It's a jellyfish. I had taught a beadworking class, and I just volunteered to do that. They really did amazingly well, as you can see. Look at that. And in not much time, they really aced it. So every student in the class made a strand, a string for the jellyfish there, and there's a little hook on it, so I keep that above my desk now, actually. But, so that's a little bit about the King Philip's War, the most important war we've never heard of.